Department of Justice is doing some dumb stuff under Trump. They just now got breaking news. Trump said the auto tariffs are permanent and that there's also going to be a tariff on lumber. So if you think your house is expensive to build now, watch this. Houses are going to go up, and it ain't going to matter if it's a new build. They just going to raise the price of houses just because. Well, let's take advantage of it. Speaking of being taken advantage of, Department of Justice is investigating Rhode Island schools over loan forgiveness program for educators of color. So it's one of those stories where a school district had a program open. People are upset, and part of the headline, which is what I hate to watch people write, but this is on foxnews.com, so you should expect it. Can you imagine if a school district had a program only open to white teachers? Do you realize until the 1970s and at a good point, mid-70s, early 80s, they didn't even let black teachers teach, let alone white kids. So that's a dumb statement, William A. Jacobson of the Legal Insurrection Foundation. That's stupid. Because if you go back and look at the number of teachers that may have applied and were able to teach and you didn't let them teach because they were black, why not help people that are disadvantaged? You help Native Americans. You help other people. You help veterans. Why not help those that have been literally institutionally marginalized? Oh, no, we got the institution. You just can't get in. We're going to raise the bar so high just for you, though. Everybody else can just get in whenever they want to because we just, wave them through the door. It doesn't make any sense. And so somebody thought maybe we need to make up for this. Maybe we need to take a step, and especially because they're qualified, what are some of the barriers that are causing people not to be able to teach? For teachers, it's making too little money and having too much school loan to pay off. So they created I don't know if you call it a loan, a grant through a foundation. So the government funded the foundation, and the foundation funded the grant for the students. And said, if you go to school, if you teach X amount of years, you got to have a minimum of $5,000 in school loans. We'll pay in $5,000 increments or whatever, up to $25,000 towards your school loan if you teach here. It's incentive because it was in Rhode Island. Not a lot of black people. I mean, black people do live in Rhode Island, but not a lot of them. And so they were able to go there, and they were able to teach, got a job, got some relief. Now, if you can tell me Reggie White got paid how much to come play football in Green Bay because he was black. Now, it's not the same as taking federal money. I get it, but it's the same concept. We're going to pay you to come here to show that it's okay to come teach here with people that are not indigenous to here. And so what you're hiding behind Department of Justice, U.S. Department of Justice, is because it was federal tax dollars. Well, now you got a problem. But if I were paying white women, which we've done, to come teach and we'll forgive your loans, I guess that's okay? See, it seems like we're only dismantling tax dollars for black people. We're not I haven't heard one Hispanic anything that has been impacted by this. But you're only searching black. You're not searching Hispanic. You're not searching Latino, Latina. Like, I'm not seeing any of it. I'm not hearing any of it. If you're going to shut down and quote unquote equalize the world, that means that white women have to stop getting grants and loans and forgiveness like everybody else. It's not your fault you went to Bennett College and got a degree in Slavic languages or Slavic literature. That's your problem. But now that you're $220,000 in debt for a bachelor's degree, that you can't get a job in literature, so you become a book publisher or book reader, okay. But if they want to help you with that, I guess it's okay. But then again, we know the real reason why you went to college. Now, see, I don't understand. This concept can't work, going to college to get a Mrs. degree when you go to an all-girls school. But then clearly, I'm behind the times.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. So I'm looking at another one of these stories. Divided federal appeals court rules to federal court appeals rules to keep order blocking Tren de Aragua, whatever his name, deportation flights in place. So, this is crazy. I'm done. So, it seems like every time I try to go on the internet, weird stuff starts happening. And somebody said that there were some viruses that were supposed to be going after Google Chrome. So I guess I'm going to have to find something different to do, because this ain't looking too good. It ain't looking too good. Let me do this. Legal Insurrection Foundation is an interesting name for a group. So basically what they want to do, I'm on the YouTube chat. Basically what they want to do is cause an insurrection, but do it legally, which doesn't make any sense because there's no such thing as a legal insurrection. But I'm just saying. Right. And so it's kind of weird, but I think they believe they're doing the right thing and causing this rift, or doing whatever they think they're doing to, I don't know, make life great. Yeah. Because they need things to go further south. Offended because of their influence and conditioning. I'm sure it's a figurative name. I don't know how figurative that is. I don't know if that's figuratively speaking. I think some people actually oxymoronic. Yes, that's true. It's just one of those things that people believe the most important thing that they can do is to show people they are so right that they're able to destroy what you believe in. They have that much faith in themselves being right. And you see it day in and day out. People pretend like they don't see it, but you see it day in and day out, that people actually believe that everything they believe is correct, and everything they believe everybody else believes is wrong. And it doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Divided federal appeals court today ruled that the Trump administration could not immediately use the 1798 Alien Enemies Act to quickly deport suspected members of the Venezuela gang Tren de Aragua, or however you say it. Now, for me, I have a problem with that. Because if you're here illegally and you're not supposed to be here and you committed a crime, you need to go. Period. Hands down, that's it. But we all know this D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals is really, 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 really liberal, to the point where they shock liberal people with some of the things they come up with. Who would keep criminals who've been convicted of committing crimes in your country because you don't like the president? Like, it's just weird. Like, at some point, I get the majority of us don't like what Trump does, what he says, and all that. But at some point, wouldn't you want people who committed crimes out of this country? Wouldn't you want people who harmed your loved ones to be out of this country? There's neither jurisdiction nor reason for this court to interfere at this very preliminary stage or to allow the government to single-handedly moot the migrants' claims by immediately removing them from beyond the reach of their lawyers or the court. Why would you do that to somebody who's not a citizen? Like, why? They're not even citizens. If you went to another country, I cannot see anybody giving us any love as it relates to courts, lawyers, and it's probably already said that we're going to be found guilty anyway. I just don't understand it. Now, was shipping them all the way down to Venezuela kind of over the top? Yeah. The swing vote was George H.W. Bush-appointed Judge Karen L. Henderson, who noted that the text of the statute enacted by President John Adams referred to a form of hostilities against the United States government by another nation state. Migration alone did not suffice. You kind of agree with it. When you read this 92 pages, you have to agree with it. The district court entered the temporary injunction for a quintessentially valid purpose to protect its remedial authority long enough to consider the parties' arguments. That's it. Once they hear them, they'll go, and then they'll decide whether they're going to do it. Trump-appointed Judge Justin Walker, who had hinted that the case would be appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court during questioning, dissented, writing that Boasberg's restraining order against the Trump administration effectively interfered with an ongoing, partially overseas national security operation. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Criminal gangbangers from another country are not national security. They're not operators. They don't know how to do a dead drop. They're not criminals. They don't have sex set up and cell groups all over the country. They just banging. Clearly, because you caught them. They went to Boston and caught like 300 people who were on paper who were non-citizens. Right? Broke into the country. Ain't supposed to be here. And they found them in 5 days. 5 days. 300 divided by 5, that's around 60 people a day they jacked. So, but you're going to tell me some people who take over entire buildings and rape, kill, and pillage U.S. Americans have the same rights as us and they're not citizens? That's a problem. That's a problem. Now, I get the judges are sworn to uphold the Constitution, but so was I. And for the record, in my law enforcement career, yes, I have stopped and pulled over judges. And I had a really good conversation with the judge because they were speeding for a meeting on the 16th Street Viaduct. And I said, why are you driving so fast? Oh, I'm Judge so-and-so and I'm trying to get I said, that's not going to get you out of a ticket. That's going to get you killed. You should think about that. Slow down. Or should I call them and tell them you can't make the meeting because you rolled off the viaduct and killed yourself because you were trying to speed? He looked at me and said, good point. I'll slow down. Thank you. Would you like for me to call and let them know you're going to be late? I just had to poke him one last, like, boop. But it's ridiculous. Citizens have rights that people that are not citizens don't. So you don't get to live in hotels. You don't get to get food 24 hours a day. You don't get SNAP cards. And you don't get driver's licenses and all sorts of things and free everything. While the homeless and the veterans and the people that look like me are stuck outside begging for crumbs. Not to mention the ones that don't look like me that are outside begging for crumbs. When you treat someone that's not from this country better than you treat people that are actually born and raised in this country, that's a problem. And I don't care whether you like it or don't like it because you like Trump or don't like Trump. Trump is completely and totally irrelevant. And I'm tired of going places to listen to people complain about stuff or complain about something that's going on in the city, and somehow they have to pull in Donald Trump when you have city politicians right here in this city that are trashing this city and not doing what they're supposed to do. And it has absolutely nothing to do with Trump because they were doing it before he got in office. But you keep believing that if you want to. You keep going down that road if you want to. Because in the end, Trump will be out of office, Democrats will be back in office, and you'll have the one thing that you had when every Democrat and every Republican is in office. Nothing.